Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm really excited to say that we're going to be giving you a reaction and review to the SOKONINARU cover of BiSH's Promise to Start, a song that I didn't know existed. Apparently it was put on YouTube about a year or so ago, and it was highlighted to me. Big thank you for that, because I was really excited to be checking this one out. Now, just so you know, in case you're one of the few people who maybe you're new, you don't know how things work here, since we reopened the channel, we have to do things slightly differently, which is that I'm about to give you the review. I've actually just done the reaction, and if you want to watch that, no problems, just click the link in the description below. It'll open a separate player and you can watch it there. So pause me now to watch the reaction if you want before the review, because I'm about to tell you what I think of the song. Have you paused me? Have you watched the reaction? Okay, well here comes the review. So, that was, in a lot of ways, that was quite surprising, but I really liked it. It seemed to me that there's two ways that you can approach a cover. And as I was saying before, the actual reaction started, there are a lot of things that you look for as a listener to a cover as well. But when you're writing a cover, then you've got two approaches that you can go for. You can either do a homage, which is basically you trying to basically do the song as accurately as possible in your own sound, or you can really try and rewrite it. And a lot of people get quite angry at the rewrite versions. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. There have been some examples of versions of rewritten covers that actually turn out to be absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously the one that everyone goes back to is like the Johnny Cash version of Hurt and things like that. I mean, these are obviously classics in their own right. But sometimes you can rewrite and it can really work, but there are a lot of rewritten covers that are absolutely awful. Now, this one obviously was going more for the homage route, which was quite surprising for me, because SOKONINARU are such a technical and competent band. In a way, I almost took it for granted that they were going to do something crazy, like maybe change up the time signatures, or, you know, really sort of mess around with the formula of the song. But it seems that they, perhaps like I, really loved the original and just wanted to basically do it in their sound. So in that sense, yes, this was amazingly competent as a homage cover. They managed to get the sound really full on. Now, I said when I was listening to it, that just the video was them playing it live. I think there was layering. I think there were other bits that were recorded either before or after, which were in the recording. It's hard to know because they use so many effects. One of the things that got me was that the lead guitarist was playing lead guitar, bassist was playing bass, and drum was playing drum. There appeared to be, it was hard to tell because of a little bit of effect and compression, there appeared to be a rhythm guitar in there, and I was trying to be careful to make sure it wasn't an effect being done by the bass guitar. I'm pretty sure though that there was an extra guitar that was in this recording that we weren't actually seeing being played. I'm willing to be corrected on that though, because I know with these sorts of sounds there are some clever little trickeries that you can do, and with the amount of distortion that was on the recording, it's hard to know whether it was some sort of trick with the bass. I was looking at her hand, I didn't see it though. I think that there was an extra rhythm guitar recorded and put in there, but that doesn't really detract from overall what we're listening to, whether that be true or not, which is that they really nailed the sound. Now, one of the things that really works about Promise to Start is that it is very centered around the bass. I mean, one of the things you notice in the chorus, you get that big chorus, and the first two chords of the chorus, the bass didn't actually move. The bass stays on the same note while the chord appears to change, and that builds up the tension. And so that sort of rock solid bass at the core of the song was something that they really nailed well, and I think really plays to their sort of three-piece band style. So it was really lovely to see the bass player was giving a lot of, grounding to it. The drummer seemed to be basically doing, excuse me if I'm wrong, he seemed to be doing exactly the drum beat from the original, which was brilliant. It was just lovely to hear him doing that and seeing him play it, because it's such an energetic and really cool beat. It was great to see him in the background between playing it live and nailing that beat so well, because it is a real thumping beat that it's got there, but it's also got some intricacies and fills and nice little stop-start bits in it. So I really loved that. I thought that was nice to see. Most of the change to the way it came across was really in how the guitarist interpreted the melodic and harmonic lines of the instrumental, which is mainly it's mainly strings, to be honest. Excuse me again if I'm wrong. I just thought, remembering back to the original, I probably should have checked the original a little bit closer before listening to this. I was just so excited to do the review. But yes, I mean, a lot of what he was covering was definitely the string lines, and he really made it work well. I loved the tone that he picked for guitar. It was perfect. He went for a tone that sounded like guitar, but kind of still had that poppy, sort of sparkly, higher, and at the same time full enough to sound like to cover for where the strings were. Tonally, they picked this well. They picked the tones brilliantly, and just everything about this. If you were going to say, I want to hear a three-piece band do Promise the Star by BiSH. They just nailed that about as best as you could ever expect or ask them to do. I mean, it really was a fantastic cover. I also thought that their vocals really matched the song well, and I liked how they passed the vocals between them. Obviously, one of the things which BiSH do a lot, and especially in Promise the Star, well, especially, but certainly it's one of the prime examples of it being done brilliantly, is a sort of pass the parcel with vocals where everyone gets a chance to sing, and it gives each bit its own little bit of identity. Now, when we covered Promise the Star on the original channel, unfortunately that review's not online anymore, I don't believe, since that last channel went down. One of the big compliments I gave to Promise the Star, beyond how much I liked the song, was just how clear and identifiable each singer's part in the song was, and how it actually elevated. It didn't feel like they were just trying to shoehorn in each person to have a line. It really felt like they were perfectly ordered each person's performance. In this case, obviously, they don't have the same number of vocalists to work with, and yet they did it really nicely. I liked, again, how they did pass the vocals between them, and then in the chorus singing together, they managed to give it the impact that it deserved. Now, obviously, we have to sort of state on this channel, always honest. If we were just sort of looking at it like for like and not taking into consideration any of the technical stuff, then obviously this is always going to lack that vocal quality, in that, first of all, singing whilst playing an instrument is always harder to fully project as it is just to sing. And obviously when you've got 6 of you or 5 of you or whatever number was on that, I can't remember how many were on Promise the Star, you're always going to have more like vocal power to work with than you got with 2 singers. So the truth is that yes, the BiSH version vocally did sound quite a bit better because of the difference in timbre, and the chorus was much, much more powerful in the BiSH version because of the fact that it felt like you could feel how they were using and layering their vocals. I mean, that was, like I say, one of the strong points of the original, even compared to other songs of theirs and other songs by any sort of pop group. That's one of the things that makes it so strong. So that was always going to be one of the hardest things for them to nail here. But like I say, that cannot be held against them, because I think with what they were working with, they did an amazing job. Just if we're looking at it in the cold, hard light of day, which one do I prefer? Difficulty with these sort of homage style covers is that they come in as being quite similar to the original, so they very rarely actually surpass the original. And in this case, I would say if I was given the choice of listening to either, I would still go back to the original one, because the string arrangement is always going to sound more powerful. The vocals were more powerful just because obviously they just had to sing and there's more of them. Ultimately, yes, if we were saying like for like, which one would you listen to? I would say I'd go for the BiSH one, but not by a country mile, not by a huge amount. This comes in pretty damn close. And obviously because it's not so much of a rewrite as a homage tribute, it means that this one is really the best thing that this exists for, is it exists as a nice contrast. It's like when you hear a song played by one of your favourite bands and then you hear them play it in the studio. It's just like, it's probably not going to be as good quality, but it's just when you hear like a studio live version or something, it's just, oh, that's a nice contrast. It's nice to have a different version of this song that I really like. So that's kind of more how it works. It just is a sort of breath of fresh air if maybe you've worn out the original too many times. Like I say, I would have liked to have heard them add more of their creative flair to this. And yeah, I don't feel like anything was lost by the fact that instead they added something of their sonic wisdom, their ability to portray their sound as, or project their sound as being something bigger than that you would expect from a free piece. I really like this. I definitely will come back to this periodically, between probably the fact that I do listen to the original quite a lot. This is something that I will probably come back to periodically as just a nice little way to break it up. I think, like I say, therefore, my conclusion is that this works really well as what it is, a sort of homage tribute. It comes really close to the original in both quality and power. I don't think it surpasses the original. And yeah, I think it is quite mind-boggling what they've achieved. And I think it certainly earns its place, as I say, as a nice contrast to the original. Really interested if anyone can tell me any more covers they did, which would be interesting. I have seen that they did other ones in this session. I didn't really go into much detail checking them out. So basically, if you're a SOKONINARU fan or not, get in there and tell me what you think of this, what other covers they have that I might be able to give a little bit of a wise opinion on. But as always, music is always a mixture of the subjective and the objective, so please get in the comments, tell me what you think, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. Start the discussion, and as always, the discussion can be continued and by the other links in our description below, such as our Discord and Reddit. There's my Facebook and Twitter in there as well, if you want to just follow what I'm waffling on about. Hopefully we're getting more stuff coming up on the Facebook sometime soon. It's been a little bit quiet while I've been trying to restart the channel all over again. And a big thank you to anyone who's previously followed and signed up to the link to our Patreon. Massive thanks for that. As always, thank you in every video, because you guys really are the reason why we're still able to do this after all the things that we've been through on this channel. So anyway, for now, from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Until I hopefully see you soon on the next review. For now, ciao ciao.